Why is information storage required? Information storage is a central pillar of information technology. Large amount of digital information is created every moment by individuals and organizations. Now this information needs to be stored, protected, optimized and managed in classic, virtualized and rapidly evolving cloud environments. Digital universe, the information explosion. So 21st century is called as an information era. That is because information is being created at an ever increasing rate. Information has become critical for success. If you consider any organization, they are depending upon the latest information. So that is why we can say that we live in an on command, on demand world, which means we need information when and where it is required. For examples, so we can access the details or we can access the information using search engines. So we need information for online shopping. So information will be displayed in a website which may include video and photo information. So we also get lots and lots of information that is being generated in social networking sites as well as emails and so on. So each and every one of these is contributing to the digital universe. Equipped with a growing number of content generating devices, more information is created by the individuals than by the organizations. So we may think that the organizations are the larger contributor to this digital universe, but in fact it is us, the individuals, who create more information. Information created by the individuals gains value when shared with others. For example, the information created by an individual, it may be a post on social media, which may be audio, video, or any other information. So it gains value whenever it is being shared with others. That is why we have the concept of liking this post or sharing this post in social media. So when created, information resides locally on devices such as the cell phones, the smartphones, tablets, cameras, and the laptops. To be shared, this information needs to be uploaded to the data centers, which we can also refer to as central data repository through the networks. Although the majority of information is created by the individuals like us, it is also stored and managed by a relatively small number of organizations. So there are some organizations who are managing these entire data centers, which in turn store, manage, and handle all the information in the digital universe that is created by the individuals. Although the individuals create the information, it is being managed through the data centers by these relatively small number of organizations. The importance, dependency, and volume of information for the business world also continue to grow at astounding rates. So that means more and more businesses are depending more and more on the information. Businesses depend on fast and reliable access to information critical to their success. Examples of business processes or systems that rely on digital information include airline reservations, telecommunications billing, internet commerce, electronic banking, credit card transaction processing, capital or stock trading, healthcare claims processing, life science research, and so on. The increasing dependency of businesses on information has amplified the challenges in storing, protecting, as well as managing the data. So, legal, regulatory, and contractual obligations regarding the availability and protection of data further add to these challenges. So, what that means is, whatever information that is created by the individuals or by the organizations needs to be stored, protected, and managed properly. So, along with that, there may also be some legal, regulatory, or contractual obligations regarding the availability and protection of the data. Availability specifies how fast the information is available. So whether the information is available when it is required or not. That is what means availability, and this data needs to be protected properly. Organizations usually maintain one or more data centers to store and manage the information. A data center is a facility that contains information storage and other physical IT resources for computing, networking, and storing information. In traditional data centers, the storage resources are typically dedicated for each of the business units or applications. The proliferation of new applications and increasing data growth have resulted in islands of discrete information storage infrastructures in these data centers, which leads to complex information management and underutilization of storage resources. So, we can overcome this by using the concept of virtualization. Virtualization optimizes the resource utilization and eases resource management. Organizations incorporate virtualization in their data centers to transform them into something called as virtualized data centers or VDCs. So rather than having discrete information storage as islands, so what we can do is, or what the organizations can incorporate is, they can transform the traditional data center into a virtualized data centers or the VDC. Cloud computing brings in a fully automated request fulfillment process that enables users to rapidly obtain storage and other IT resources on demand. So whenever there's a demand for storage or other IT resources, so the cloud can provide these resources using a request fulfillment process. Through cloud computing, an organization can rapidly deploy applications where the underlying storage capability can scale up or scale down based upon the business requirements. Information management is a big challenge. Information management involves storing the information, protecting it, optimizing, as well as leveraging out of the information that we are going to handle or store. So all these activities are a part of the information management process. Let us briefly look at the vocabulary that is used for measuring the information. If a grain of sand weighs 1 byte of information, then 1 megabyte equals to a tablespoon of sand, or in other words, it equals to 1 million bytes. So 1 gigabyte equals to a patch of sand that is 9 inches square and 1 feet deep, which is equal to 1 billion bytes. 1 terabyte equals to 1 trillion bytes. 1 petabyte equals to 1000 terabytes. So you have some other vocabulary as well. So 1 exabyte equals to 1000 petabytes. 1 zettabyte equals to 1000 exabytes, and 1 yottabyte equals to 1000 zettabytes. All these terms are used for measuring the information that needs to be stored. Now let us look at the definition of data. What is data? Data is a collection of raw facts from which conclusions may be drawn. So data may be in physical form. So if it is converted to a digital form, we call it as a digital data. Digital data is more convenient to handle. So because of the following reasons. The first reason is increase in data processing capabilities. Second is lower cost of digital storage, as well as affordable and faster communication technology. So as we had discussed earlier, so individuals as well as the businesses are the data creators. They create the data. If you look at this diagram over here, so you have a video, a photograph, a set of books, letters, and so on. So if you digitize all this data, so you will get the digital data that can be handled in a much more convenient way. Let us look at the factors contributed to the growth of digital data. The first factor is increase in data processing capabilities. Modern computers provide a significant increase in processing and storage capabilities. So we have more and more powerful computers. So even the digital devices that we have sufficient data processing capabilities. This enables the conversion of various types of content and media from conventional forms to digital formats. The second factor being lower cost of digital storage. Technological advances and the decrease in the cost of storage devices have provided low-cost storage solutions. This cost benefits has increased the rate at which the digital data is generated and stored. So we can store more and more data at a affordable cost. So this is the second factor that is led to the growth of digital data. The third factor being affordable and faster communication technology. The rate of sharing digital data is now much faster than the traditional approaches. A handwritten letter might take a week to reach its destination, whereas it typically takes only a few seconds for an email message to reach its recipient. So, affordable communication technology, along with the faster communication technology, has also contributed to the growth of digital data to a great extent. And the last factor is proliferation of applications and smart devices. Smartphones, tablets, and newer digital devices, along with the smart applications, have significantly contributed to the generation of digital content. So almost most of the individuals, so they have their own digital devices, which may be a smartphone, tablets, or some other digital devices, which again contribute to this creation of the data, right? So these are the four factors that have contributed to the growth of digital data. Data explosion. Let us try to understand what this term means. Inexpensive and easier ways to create, collect, and store all types of data, coupled with increasing individual and business needs, have led to accelerated data growth, popularly termed as data explosion. Basically, data is creating at an ever increasing rate. So this we generalize with a term called as a data explosion. So because of the factors that we have discussed earlier, so affordable and faster communication technologies, low cost of digital storage and so on, which has led to a large amount of data that is being created in the digital universe. Both individuals and businesses have contributed in varied proportion to this data explosion. So data is created by the individuals as well as the businesses. So which has contributed to a large data in the digital universe. Businesses generate vast amounts of data and then extract meaningful information from this data to derive economic benefits. Businesses are always driven because of the economic benefits. They try to leverage from the information that they are going to handle or generate, right? So businesses generate vast amount of data with the view of generating economic benefits. Therefore, businesses need to maintain data and ensure its availability over a longer period. Any business that is creating the data should maintain and ensure that the data is available for a longer period, or if not, for the sufficient duration of time. Furthermore, the data can vary in criticality and might require special handling. For example, legal and regulatory requirements mandate that banks maintain account information for their customers accurately and securely. There is no scope for error in the information that is being stored there. The information should not be corrupted. The information should always be available when it is required and so on. And also, the security of the information that is being stored of the customers should be ensured. So handling information involves a bunch of activities. Some businesses handle data for millions of customers and ensure the security and integrity of the data over a long period of time. So these businesses ensure that the data that they are handling is secured as well as the integrity of the data is ensured. This requires high performance and high capacity storage devices with enhanced security and compliance that can retain data for a longer period. So whenever we try to retain the data for a long period, we need to ensure the integrity of the data is protected. The data is not corrupted while it is stored, as well as the data is secured properly. So these are the things that needs to be considered whenever businesses handle large amounts of data. Now that we have defined the data, now let us try to understand how the data is classified. Data is classified as either structured or unstructured data. Structured data is organized in rows and columns in a rigidly defined format so that the applications can retrieve and process it efficiently. Any data that can be organized in rows and columns, we call it as a structured data. Structured data is typically stored using a DBMS. So any data that can be organized in rows and columns in a rigidly defined format, we classify it as structured data. Now you have one more category of data, it's called as unstructured data. Let us see what this unstructured data is. Data is unstructured if its elements cannot be stored in rows and columns, which makes it difficult to query and retrieve by applications. Now, the interesting fact is over 80% of enterprise information is unstructured. So, more than 80% of the data in the digital universe is unstructured data. For a better understanding, let us just try to observe this particular diagram here. So structured data contributes to less than 20% here, whereas more than 80% is unstructured data. So while we are referring to unstructured data, it may be the audio, video, invoices, web pages, documents, instant messages, emails, manuals, x-rays, and so on and so forth. So all these are the data which cannot be represented in rows and columns. Thereby, they fall under the category of unstructured data.